What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Boleros. Sam here with Gab and the returning Mr. Maui, Yap 24. Welcome back, Maui. Kamusta yung
Nakabalik
Japan?
din, nakabalik. Masaya.
Sarap naman
Sorry
ng
for missing the
bakasyon.
last 2 episodes. Nagpahinga muna, nag-food trip.
Sana all, maka-Japan. Sana all.
Pang honeymoon, Gab, Japan. Honeymoon.
Yeah. Okay, yung sakto yung tapos ng UAAP season, mag-honeymoon na kami. Yung planado yun eh.
Talagang
Kailangan tapusin muna ang UAAP
exactly,
season.
ganyan ka-addict si Gab. Inuuna muna yung UAAP bago yung honeymoon niya. Anyway, let's talk about today's games. So we had a weekend of games. We had 4 games. But I think we'll just do initial reactions. We'll briefly talk about the games today since yun yung medyo fresh. And I think yun yung medyo may serious implications. Yesterday's games. Top 2 teams versus bottom 2 teams, I think. So, results were quite expected, I would say. But let's briefly talk about them later. Don't worry. Let's get straight to the point. Let's talk about the first game, Ateneo versus Adamson. Ateneo winning a close game again. Initial reactions first, I guess. Let's talk about Ateneo.
Okay, of the 2 games today, the Ateneo versus Adamson game was the uglier one. I think you'd both agree. It was a very ugly game from both teams. For Ateneo, turnovers and free throws. Good God. They shot 16 of 31 from the free throw line. So many missed free throws, even in crunch time. And when it was close in crunch time, every time you feel like they had a chance to take the lead, they would commit a terrible turnover. So there's no composure from this team so far. And actually, I thought in the first half they were in control of this game. They were up by 9, 38-29, coming into the third quarter. And here we go again. Classic Ateneo season 86 with a freaking terrible third quarter. Just scoring 4 points. They were outscored 20-4 in the third quarter.
Gumaya sa Lasal. 4-point quarter.
No, yung ano lang sabi nila yung Lasal naka 3-point quarter, tayo 4. Yung para mas ahead naman tayo 1 point sa Lasal, di ba? Hindi pa matalo sa Lasal. But yeah, the fourth quarter was...
To be fair, sa Lasal, UP yung bumabantay sa kanila nung single-digit quarter. Ito, Adamson. Medyo magkaiba yung 2 teams na yon. But go ahead.
Yeah, yung magkaiba. But I think Adamson did it by defense. They were more physical. They came out of the locker room as the more physical team. They were up on the shooters of Ateneo. They were forcing them to take it to the paint, and I thought a lot of the Ateneo players were very tentative. Chris Kuhn, I think, was so tentative. My goodness sake, man. Just take a shot, bro. He kicked it. The guy kicked it out. Just take it. Espinosa was tentative. Rafi Celes was tentative. Kai Balungay was tentative. Everyone just trying to figure out and trying to decipher that Adamson defense. I thought Adamson did a very good job in the third quarter. And just hitting their threes. I thought their threes were going in. They were getting a lot of good contested threes. So Ateneo still playing a lot of good defense, but the contested threes were going in for Adamson, and you can't do anything about that. But yeah, on the offensive end, I thought Ateneo in the third quarter just looked horrible. They couldn't convert on their chances. And actually, one of my takeaways from the whole second round is Ateneo can learn something from La Salle. No? If La Salle can learn something about Ateneo's half-court offense, half-court composure, maybe Ateneo can do a bit more with quick offense. Just maybe getting an easy bucket at times. Because I know it's not Tab Baldwin's style. No? Yung Tab Baldwin's style would like to set the half court, then run the play. They're never a running team. But I think with this edition of Ateneo, parang mas okay na to get easy baskets and run. Diba? Because every time they settle in the half court, they go on these long droughts, can't score. A lot of them are tentative, and it's just so hard to get offense that way. And that showed earlier. Our leading scorer for the game was Sean Kitevis. Diba? That the last time he was the leading scorer of the game, I think, was the first game against NU. Again, like what we said during that first game day, I think it was you, me, Sammy, who said it. If Sean Kitevis is the one taking charge of your offense, you know your offense is crap. Because Sean Kitevis is the one taking charge of offense. But honestly, that game, Sean Kitevis, I think, played the hell of a game. Defensively, a lot of yung defensive stops in crunch time, getting those getting that steal in the layup. He stole the ball another time, was pushed out of bounds, but nothing was called for some reason. But yeah, their defensive and Sean's defensive intensity won Ateneo that game. Although I would like to add that despite the positive that Sean was on defense, I thought that he was also a very negative on offense, despite being the highest scorer of the game. Because Adamson was so content just to leave him alone, to help off him. And you see it bothered a lot of the post-ups from Obasa, from Kai Balungay, Chris Kuhn's drive where the helper just came off Sean Kitevis. And the offense just found itself just kicking out to Sean. And of course, to Sean Kitevis, he's a terrible shooter. He hit 1-3. Diba? So, despite the positive he is on defense, Sean was pretty much a negative on the offensive end. And again, it's really hard to play offense where you have a shooting guard like Sean Kitevis, who is a non-shooter. And yun, and in crunch, in the fourth quarter, kaya nakahabol ang Ateneo because I think sinabihan sila to become more aggressive, and they were the more aggressive team in the fourth quarter, taking it to the bucket, drawing fouls, getting to the free throw line despite not them hitting it. But when they decided to do that, they were able to get shooters open, they were able to get easy baskets, and because their defense held up, they were able to come out with a win. And it's an ugly win. Honestly, a win is a win. I know I'll take the win. Pero Ateneo played like shit. Still played like shit. So, but I'll take it. Mas malaki pa rin ang bird natin for the second round. Nakabawi tayo. Mas malaki pa rin ang bird natin. Yung pwede ba yun yung title natin? Parang gusto ko yun maging title natin sa episode na to. Mas malaki pa rin bird natin.
Bawi. Pantay lang. Pinanalo Adamson.
Pantay lang pala. Yung kasing laki yung bird natin.
Parehong malaking
bird.
Yeah.
Okay,
parehong
so
malaking
speaking
bird.
of the other bird, Adamson, Maui, ano yung nakita mo dun sa game na yun? Because like Adamson really controlled the third quarter and then medyo nagkabaliktaran nung fourth quarter. Any reactions or thoughts on the Adamson side naman?
Yeah, actually, talking about Adamson versus Ateneo, this is the third straight game na down the wire talaga. If you look at yung preseason, Adamson also beat Ateneo with the buzzer beater 3 by, I think, si Montebon.
Montebon.
And then yung first round, si Hanapi, the birthday boy, beat Ateneo also on the buzzer beating 3.
Si Magbuhos.
Magbuhos pala. Yeah, Magbuhos. But yeah, this is another classic Ateneo Adamson game. Adamson has really been. Sorry.
I was actually scared, Maui, na yun yung mangyari sa atin kanina crunch time.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't get our free throws. So kinakabahan ako, mga buzzer beater na naman tayo nito.
I share the same sentiments, Gab. The whole crunch time, I was waiting for Adamson to really beat us at the buzzer or with the game winner. They almost did, I think, with one of the drop pass to Manzano. But Obasa was able to block it. According to Coach Nash, it was a foul. But I think it was a good contest. Ateneo was able to stop Adamson from taking the lead. I think they had 3 or 4 possessions nung end game. One of the possessions, si Sean Kutevis stole the ball, but for some reason, no foul was called. Another possession, I thought that one of the guards also committed a traveling call, but it led to
Si
a
Hanapi.
three-pointer. Si Hanapi, yeah.
Yung naglakwat siya sa luneta, pare, hindi tinawag ng traveling.
Hindi tinawagan. So I think, generally speaking, Ateneo, maybe it's trending again that Coach Nash called out the officials for apparently Ateneo getting more free throws, 31 versus 10, I think. And especially the fourth quarter, I actually noticed nung game when I was watching live that Adamson was in the penalty 7 minutes in. And I think it's really a byproduct of Ateneo's aggression. I think nung third quarter, they played pretty tentative. Especially si Sean Kitevis, they really sag off of him. Layo nung bantay kay Sean, but I think he really adjusted well throughout the game. I think Ateneo wouldn't have won that game without Sean Kitevis really hustling the whole game. I think he had 8 rebounds, a lot of defensive stops, and I think yung most impressive for me is he was diving for loose balls. He even tried to catch up one loose ball from a Chris Kuhn potential steal. But yeah, Adamson continues to surprise me definitely this season. You guys know that if you watched our preseason power rankings, Adamson was ranked, I don't know, 7th or 6th, very low on the power rankings definitely, because we thought that once they lost Duanga, once they lost Manlapas, and at the last minute si Jerome, that they would falter, but they haven't this season. And I think it's a byproduct of the program. I have to give comment to sila Coach Nash, si Gilbert Lawas is very active if you watch the game. It's just that it's sad for me na si Jerome Lastimosa, they had to force him play, and then now they're lamenting this loss because of the officials. I think they could have won the game easily. They had a lot of chances during the end game. I thought that Montebon was playing again the game of his life against Ateneo. They hit a lot of 3-point shots, contested 3-point shots. Gabby's right. I think they shot 40% sa 3 points kanina, hitting 10 3-pointers. And it mostly came during the third quarter and the fourth quarter. I think this Adamson team is a team to watch out for in coming seasons. It's gonna be a crazy ending. If you look at the standings, Adamson is 1 game behind Ateneo. UE is 2 games behind Ateneo, and Ateneo is going up against UE. Adamson is going up against UE, and Ateneo's last game is against La Salle. So it's gonna be a crazy end to the second round. At the end of the season, I think the top 3 slots are locked in. I think La Salle's peak. We'll get into more detail when we discuss yung game ng La Salle. But yeah, generally speaking, it's been the same story for Ateneo. I think si Gab mentioned the third quarter continues to be a horrendous quarter for Ateneo. This is actually yung talagang the magnitude of the disaster of the third quarter was really shown today. I think this is Ateneo's worst third quarter of the season. They scored 4 points. Everyone was tentative. They were committing a lot of turnovers. I think definitely Adamson did a good job dun sa penetration ng Ateneo kanina, and also limiting Joe Obasa on the post. When I looked at the box score, I was actually surprised that Obasa had 2 turnovers. I think some of the turnovers was not credited to him, but I think he committed a lot of turnovers of passes from the post.
Yeah, yung mga parang malamyang pasa niya, yung
Yeah. And yung dad ko was actually very mad with Obasa because he was committing a lot of turnovers. But I think it's really a byproduct also of the pressure defense of Adamson. They did a good job with deflections, a lot of deflections. They
were really just making a conscious effort to help off Sean Kitevis.
Yeah.
The one who was double teaming.
I was gonna get to that. If you watch the game again, grabe yung the defense on Kitevis. They really sagged off of him. And I think this is a good response by Kitevis. Him scoring in double figures. I think this is correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is his most points in a game this season. I think he did a pretty good job considering his his offensive limitations. It's just that he still shot 1 of 5 from 3-point line. But he was very aggressive on both ends of the floor. And I think this is the reason why Coach Tab really picked Kitevis as to become one of the captains for Ateneo. I think he is the heart of Ateneo. Chris Kuhn might be their most important player with Balungay, but I think Kitevis is really the heart and soul of this Ateneo team. If Ateneo is to be able to upset the top teams, I think Kitevis has to be more aggressive. If he continues to be tentative, definitely teams will just sag off and leave him open, making it even harder for Kuhn to create, making it even harder for Ateneo to execute on the half court. Definitely, Balungay played a better game this game, I think. Si Kuhn committed a lot of turnovers. He had 6, I think, ng game na to. We were very...
He was terrible.
He was terrible. He was terrible today, very tentative. He missed a lot of free throws, including 2 crucial free throws nung end game. I think if Ateneo intends to really lock up that Final Four slot, he has to play better. I think the whole season, I've been saying that Balungay and Kuhn have to score 15, 30 points, close to 30 points combined for Ateneo to have a chance. But yeah, Adamson, as usual, did a good job. Very balanced scoring, similar to NU. Si Cedric Manzano continued to be a menace. Mason Amos was practically unplayable because of Cedric Manzano. I think Amos was a minus 10 in like 14 minutes. And you can see, when Amos comes in, Cedric Manzano comes in. Cedric Manzano did not start because Amos did not start. But once Coach Tab called Mason Amos, you can see Manzano directly entered the game. But I think really Joe Abasa has to get credit also. He did a good job today. Hitting those crucial free throws was one thing. The other thing was definitely yung defense on Manzano. I think Adamson did a very good job setting up Manzano nung fourth quarter, but unfortunately he wasn't able to convert most of those baskets. Si Erolon also hit a few crazy 3-point shots. I think this Adamson team has a lot of talent. That's something definitely I missed out nung preseason. They are showing that they are a team similar to NU. Probably NU 2 years ago. They're a very deep team. They're young. I think the future is bright. Maybe losing Jerome was really a blessing in disguise. Sorry, I don't think
a lot
Jerome
of them are old though,
still...
Maui.
Yeah, but some of the players like Montebon is somebody to look forward to. But yeah, you have a point, Gab. Si Yero is old. I'm not sure why Sabandal did not play a while ago. Maybe he's injured. Si Gab Gomez is actually now injured, really injured. We saw him sporting a cast. So it's definitely going to be a Jared Brown and Espinosa show on the point guard sa Ateneo. I thought that Espinosa probably played one of his best games of the season, especially during crunch time. He was very steady. But
he was incredible defensively.
Yeah, he was incredible defensively
Ian
also.
Espinosa.
I think Jared Brown having an off day really forced the hand of Coach Tab to play Espinosa more. But yeah, definitely a crazy ending to the second round. We're looking for that. The race to the top 2 slots and the race for the 4th slot will be crazy. It's something we can look forward to during this week, Wednesday and this weekend. It's gonna be crazy.
Just a note, yung just some notes. Gio2 had a +2.
But he was
I think this is his only game where his net rating was a positive.
But the playing time was really dwindled. He only played 5 minutes kanina, I think.
Yeah, but
he has played himself out of the rotation. Coming from a guy who was starting ng first game ng Ateneo, it's crazy.
And I thought there were some good Jason Credo plays. I thought he was aggressive, trying to get a basket. Yeah. But he just couldn't hit a free throw. Jason Credo, come on, man. Practice your free throw. You made like 1 out of... How many free throws?
2 out of 5.
2 out of 5. 2 out of 5. 2 of those were in clutch time, baby. Come on. Yung that was sad to see, man. Come on, Jason Credo. And on Adamson's side, yeah, you mentioned si Erolon Maui. I was pretty impressed by him. Again, he's known as a shooter, and he did his job. He shot the ball really well, and so is Kalisay, man. Those guys, they shot the hell out of the ball.
Si
It was
Montebon,
one of the
galing.
Montebon and also Hanapi. They were the ones who triggered that run in the third quarter. And I was pretty impressed with how they moved the ball and how they hit those contested threes. So kudos to Adamson. Sam, sige, ikaw naman.
I think pretty much covered it. Si Kalisay din yung gusto ko sana ibanggit eh. Kasi I think it was like 3 out of 4 from 3-point shot. Was really hot kanina. Pareho tayong tatlo, no? Sinasabi ko na, feel ko talaga game-winning 3 na naman to from Adamson. Tapos sinasabi ko sa dad ko naman, pusta ko itong Kalisay eh. Kasi kanina pa tong init-init eh. Kanina pa, puro
It's
tres
been that type of season for Ateneo.
It's been that type of season for Ateneo. So, I think it was a close game. Kahit na nanalo Ateneo, I think you mentioned it, Gab. Kahit nanalo Ateneo, I think it was a bad win for Ateneo. It was sort of a bad win for them. To be fair to Adamson, they didn't have Sabandal. He's like a starter for them. So, they still kept it close despite being short-handed. So, yun yung key point that I wanted to share. Yeah, yun lang naman. Ian Espinosa,
Let's go
I
to
think
what-
played good defense, to
Wow.
be fair to him. He played good defense.
Let's go to what Maui said about Coach Nash's comments. Because, the last time this happened, a lot of our subscribers just kind of call us out. Why did you talk about the UE Ateneo free throw differential? Okay, so now we're gonna... I think let's talk about it. But although I think it's a hard topic to talk about, no, sa amin, Maui. Kasi mga Atenista tayo eh. So kung against tayo kay Coach sa sinabi ni Coach Nash, will be labeled as bias. And the only acceptable answer for some people is if we agree with Coach Nash. So I think it's right to talk about. Maui touched on it.
By the way, si Coach
kanina.
Nash, Ateneo din.
No, si Coach Nash is actually from Ateneo High School.
Okay.
So,
Go ahead.
So yun, I just wanted to address it. So in
batch
in this
88.
post, yeah, batch 88. So Coach Nash kind of mentioned that one of the reasons why he was frustrated and angry with the officiating was Adamson was in the penalty early in the fourth quarter, and that's true. They were, but as I said, in the third quarter and out of halftime, Adamson kind of played a UP like defense. That up in your face, bangga, physical, in your face defense. And in the fourth quarter, Ateneo decided to be more aggressive and force the refs to make calls. And a lot of them were bumps. Some were 50-50. I will have to admit 50-50 calls, but those 50-50 calls can go either way. If you're a ref, you can call it not a foul, you can call it a foul. Just so happens that the refs call it a foul and they were in the penalty early. Were there calls that went Ateneo's way? Of course there were. Were there calls that went Adamson's way? Yes. We talked about kanina at crunch time. The foul on Son Quiteves, he was pushed out of bounds by Montebon. It wasn't called. That went Adamson's way. The shot by Cedric Manzano and the quote-unquote contest or block by Joe Obasa. I personally thought it was a foul, Maui. I think he got a lot of hand there on Manzano. It wasn't called, but the play after that, Hanapi took like 5 steps and was not called for traveling. So yeah, the calls were bad. There will always be calls that go. There will always be bad calls, but I think to call na because they were in the penalty in the fourth quarter really early as something ridiculous being done by the refs is kind of unfair to the refs, diba? And unfair to Ateneo as well. I thought Ateneo were the aggressors in the fourth quarter and forced the refs to make calls, and the refs made calls. And Adamson was playing physical defense. That's the way they played. They were aggressive on the defensive end. The free throw differential, a lot of those free throws came in the last 2 minutes. Ateneo shot what? 8 free throws in the last 2 minutes. So when Adamson was intentionally fouling and really fouled some of the players. So I don't think it's fair to say that some calls should have gone. I think Coach Nash's statements were, bigyan naman kami ng mga tawag. And that's unfair because some calls did go your way. Some calls went Ateneo's way. So I know I'm gonna sound biased because you guys are looking because Atenista ako. But that's the way basketball goes. I complain a lot about the refs when I watch UAAP games. And I don't fault him for complaining about the refs, but I think it's pretty unfair just to say na none of the calls went your way and more calls yung bigyan naman sila ng mga tawag. That's I think pretty unfair both to Ateneo and to the refs and to his team as well. I thought his team yung played really well in the fourth quarter. And the second half as a whole. Maui or Sam?
Yeah, I think you touched upon most of my points also. I think it's definitely confusing that Coach Nash lamented the referees during the game a while ago, but also at the same time praising Ateneo's good play on the fourth quarter. I mean, it's crazy. It's contradicting statements. And he even had to mention yung UE game that he felt like ito pala yung feeling ng UE during the game against Ateneo. And I think if you have a problem, then probably just contest. I mean, that's the easiest way. If you think that the league has integrity, then you should protest the game and see what the league
or
says.
babaan nila yung grade ng ref sa report card, diba? Yung suspend mga
Yes.
ref dahil mababa daw grade.
Yes, so possibly get those referees suspended again if they think that the integrity of the referees were questionable during the game. But I don't think that it should. I thought that Coach Nash should have probably just talked about how they were able to execute during the end game. That would have been a better statement. He has been very vocal sa referees in both Ateneo games. If you watch also yung first game, until it ended, he was motioning something to the referees like this or something. But I think it's not the way to go for me when it comes to basketball. There will always be good calls and bad calls. I mean, if UAAP really wanted Ateneo to force Ateneo to the Final Four, then maybe they should have done this throughout the whole season. I mean, Ateneo has been in probably the most close games during the season, diba? I mean, they should have done this early on. They should have secured this. Ateneo has probably lost the most games na tight ball games. Definitely, Ateneo has been in part of most of the games that have been decided by 5 points or less. That's what I consider a close game, a game decided down the wire. If the UAAP does indeed, this is a statement Coach Nash mentioned, if the UAAP does indeed want Ateneo to get to the Final Four, then maybe they should have just did it also for all the other games that Ateneo lost. Diba? I mean, some people are arguing the game winner by LJ Gonzalez nung FU game was a traveling call. Then maybe the referees called the traveling or something. But my point is, it's unfair to Ateneo. It's unfair to the effort that the players gave on both ends of the floor for both teams. Lamenting the referees for a game, this type of game decided by a few points, and them having the chance to win at the buzzer is crazy for me. I don't want to say that I'm mad at Coach Nash, but it's some of his decisions during the second round have been questionable, in my opinion, including the decision to play Jerome Lastimosa. I think that Jerome Lastimosa maybe wanted to play, but he's the head coach. I mean, he still has the final say. Maybe he could have guided Jerome to not play. I don't want to comment that much anymore. I think it was both teams definitely had some good calls and bad calls called. It wasn't maybe I'm biased since I'm at Atenean, but I just try to enjoy basketball. I mean, all season long we've wanted a crazy UAP season and we got it. And I'm not sad that Ateneo is number 4. I'm quite happy that it's been a very challenging season for all teams. The records definitely does not reflect the full capability of these teams. Ateneo could have easily been top. Adamson also could have easily been top with them facing also a lot of teams with a close deficit. FPU could have easily been in the race now sa Final Four if they won some of those close games. But yeah, same sentiments with Gab. Definitely, they just have to take it up with the league. That's just my comment. If they want to protest, then definitely protest. But for me, it wasn't really that much. It wasn't evident that much for me to really call out the referees after this game. I thought that Adamson really settled for a lot of jump shots during the fourth quarter, and it paid off. They hit a lot of crucial 3-point shots. I think that's a byproduct also of why they did not get into the penalty earlier no fourth quarter. I think Ateneo only committed 2 or 3 fouls in fourth quarter. Ateneo was very aggressive. I think si Kun and si Credo definitely got a lot of fouls drawn nung fourth quarter. I think si Obasa also had a few. But yeah, that's part of basketball. Yeah, there will always be good plays and bad plays. The referees cannot be 100%. But let's see what happens if the league has any reactions or repercussions to the referees after this game. I'm waiting and just very waiting whatever happens. But I'm happy. It's another. I'm happy that the UAAP addresses these matters. I think we're in the right track. Sam.
Okay. So the way I look at it also is like yung long term, more of like perspective din kay Coach Nash na you mentioned it, Mao, he's been complaining a lot about the refs. So also doesn't look good on him, di ba? If you're a referee, baka it doesn't look good on Coach Nash. But I think it's very hard to comment nga, as you guys mentioned, sa game because we are from Ateneo, but I think it's also best. Definitely, we will be talking about this more, especially if Adamson files a complaint and we will get an investigation or review, just like what happened before with Ateneo and UE, the games during that day. So something to look out for, I guess, for us in the succeeding days. Something that
But
we
Maui
can
made a good point naman, diba? I think Maui made a good point. If the refs or the UAPs, there's really a conspiracy to let Ateneo win and enter the Final Four, then why didn't they do it in the other games? Ateneo's lost 6! so, diba? Yun lang. Okay, so let's move on.
Okay, let's move on to the next game. Another triple-double by KQ. Halimaw na stats. Maui, I want to hear anong reaction mo, anong thoughts mo kay KQ from that game?
Yeah, I think si KQ definitely solidified yung position niya as the MVP leader. I think they have to give it to KQ. I mean,
Malayo na, 'di ba?
Malayo na. Based on we don't believe in the UAAP statistical race, but the eye test, everything, I think it's really been KQ. KQ has really played well after a very, I would say, somewhat inconsistent start to the season. He has been dominant this past second round. And it's reflected. La Salle, I think, is the only unbeaten team in the second round. They're the hottest team in the league. Kevin Quiambao having 2 triple-doubles in a few games is crazy. He's like the Nikola Jokic of the UAAP this season, pouring rebounds, assists, steals, blocks. And I think yung 3-point shot niya, a lot of people have been complaining that he's taking a lot of them. But I think I mentioned this to you guys. His 3-point shot is actually very efficient when it comes to the UAAP. Him hitting at a clip mid-30s is a super efficient shot in terms of other shots in the UAAP. I think KQ is probably Japan bound or better. after this season. If La Salle brings the championship back to TAF, if La Salle continues on this hot streak and steals the championship, I say steal because I think UP is still the big favorite despite La Salle beating them. Remember when they beat La Salle, Malik Diouf and I think JD Kagulangan wasn't there. Am I correct? But yeah, if La Salle does indeed get the championship, I don't think KQ is coming back. KQ is definitely number one on the priority list of the scouts from Korea and Japan. He is playing on another level, a level similar to probably Terdy Ravena was when he was still with Ateneo during his last 2 years. I'm happy that La Salle has finally turned the corner. Happy for Coach Topex. I think Coach Topex deserves the credit as much as KQ deserves the credit. I think KQ has been mentioning this also during his pressers. I think he has spoken very good words with regards to Coach Topex. I think it's finally happening for La Salle. Barring any meltdowns during these last 2 games and the Final Four, I think Coach Topex is the right coach for La Salle moving forward. They should trust his process. He has a good track record in developing college players also. And I think the relationship he has with the players is special. I think if you read some of the posts at Twitter, now X, a lot of people are saying that the aura of La Salle is different from previous seasons. Even in Alvin Ayos' time, this La Salle team is very confident. This La Salle team looks like it's really gelled, really looking out for each other. And I think it's really Coach Topex. He has enabled KQ to play like this. And credits to the training staff of La Salle with regards to KQ, yung personal trainer niya, personal chef, and everything. It's crazy that 2 or 3 seasons ago, Kevin Quiambao was a center for the NU Bullpups. Now, I think he's converting to a shooting guard, small forward type. I'm looking forward to see his development. I think he should be a staple of Gilas teams in the future. I can just imagine if KQ continues to work like this, what he can be in 2 to 3 years time. It's been a crazy ride for KQ. But yeah, another person I want to credit is definitely Mark Nonoy. He had this breakout game for La Salle. This was definitely his best game as La Salle Green Archer. He had 25 points.
Sabi ko sa'yo,
Wait lang, Maui.
Comeback player!
Yeah.
Gab
Comeback
deserves
player, Mark Nonoy.
credit. Gab deserves credit for that. Kasi yun yung comeback player na pahabol ni Gab in our last episode. I'm sure you know about that, Maui.
Yeah.
And then Mark Nonoy shoots 7 out of 11 from 3. What the hell just happened?
Nanonood siya ng Boleros, pare. Na-inspire siya sa akin.
Mark Nonoy, grabe.
Tsaka yung 3-pointers si Mark Nonoy kanina was very timely, very crucial. I think he played a more controlled game. He had 1 turnover also. If Mark Nonoy continues to play like this, La Salle is very scary. Si Mike Phillips even didn't play a lot of minutes kanina. It was weird that he entered only in the 4th quarter. I thought he was going to be rested the whole game. As usual, si Raven Cortez also balled out a while ago. He played a good game. Junel Policarpio has really developed into a good player in second round. He's very aggressive and is a good player to play with Kevin Quiambao as an elite slasher also. I think La Salle really is the second favorite for me to win the title behind UP. That's because NU also has dealt with a lot of injuries. I'm not sure when Steve Nash will come back. I think La Salle is speaking at the right time. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Some of my La Salle friends are still skeptical until probably La Salle wins the championship. Every La Sallean or most of the La Salle community is still skeptical if they are for real. But I think, yeah, they're for real, definitely. They have the best player in the UAAP. They have one of the top guards in the UAAP in Evan Nelly. They also have a very good big men, local big men with Raven Cortez and Mike Phillips. I think La Salle is has a lot of weapons. Definitely, if there was a team to come toe to toe with UP when it comes to talent, I think it's La Salle. I think that UE has done a good job. Just to comment also on UE, I think they have done a good job this season. Jack Santiago has maximized this team. I wouldn't be surprised if there are rumors about Remogat going to Korea or Japan also this off season. He's probably one of the top guards in the country right now. I love how he plays. He never forces shots. He gets his teammates involved, and it's really showtime. I love how he dribbles the ball. I love how he passes the ball. I think his passing is the most underrated part of his game. Despite him being a scoring machine, definitely a player to watch out for. But si Precious Momoe also played a good game a while ago. Si Abdul Sawat has been a welcome sight for them sa second round. I think the problem really with UE is that they also lost a lot of key players, key players from their bench. They had to play an 8-man rotation a while ago, and they still went toe to toe with La Salle. But yeah, I hope no more off court dramas so that we can really see the rise of UE next season. I'm very curious to see what will happen to UE, UST, and FU next season. There are staples in UAAP basketball. So yeah, definitely praying for no Jack Santiago off-court issues. I think UE is on the right track. But we also said this last year. So hopefully there would be no more off-court issues. So yeah, definitely it's gonna be a crazy end. I mentioned kanina, UE is going to play Adamson during the last day of the season. The other game of UE also is against Ateneo. So if Ateneo loses to UE and UE also defeats Adamson, it's gonna be crazy, the ending. Definitely. The schedule for UAAP this week is definitely must watch. That's something I have to say.
Correct.
Yeah, this week is must watch. It's the crucial part of the year. Gab.
So just to add, no. So number one for me, Gab, for if there's a baller of the week, it's Gab for calling the Mark Nonoy comeback game. That was out of nowhere. Out of nowhere call. Pahabol na nga lang yun, Gab, di ba? Like, we were supposed to end the episode. Sabi ko, meron ka pa bang ibang pahabol? And then you came up with Mark Nonoy. So, baller, I give Gab the baller of the week for that. Also to the subscribers or the listeners, no? Kasi I remember they also mentioned when we talked about the key players of La Salle, a lot of people commented, sabi nila, wala talagang key player La Salle other than probably KQ because it's a next man up mentality for La Salle. We talked about this in the last episode. Up throughout the season, you've seen different players step up. You've seen Policarpio, Cortez, etc. And now you have Mark Nonoy scoring 25 points. Probably one of his best games as a La Salle player. So it
Career high,
really,
Sam. Career high as a La Salle player. According to Pong Docanes, Mr. Statistician.
It really is next man up for La Salle. And it was a close game after the third, but they won it in the fourth. And as you mentioned, Maui, wala nga si Mike Phillips. So their supposed starting center didn't play and they still won convincingly. Gab, sige, ikaw muna since you called the Mark Nonoy game.
Go lang. Tapusin mo.
Yun lang naman for me for La Salle actually, but I just wanted to shout out, I think, Abdul Sawat. We didn't talk about him last time, but I also had him as sort of like a surprise player that's been doing really well. For me, si Abdul Sawat, he is the Sean Kiteves of UE. Para sa akin, a guy na was really a role player or played in limited minutes in the previous seasons. Ngayon, I think siya na yung captain. And grabe yung energy that he brings to this team. So, to be fair, I just wanted to mention him kasi hindi siya masyadong nababanggit or napapag-usapan. So, na-mention mo nga siya kanina, Maui. I think he's been playing like crazy the past few games, but also I think he has to score a lot or he has to take a lot of shots now because they're also losing a lot of players. So if you look at the rotation today, it was like 8 players and most of the main guys played like 30 plus minutes. So talagang very, very short.
Lagari na, bro.
Lagari na. So
Lagari na. All
I think
in.
nawalan lang din sila ng gas in the end, but they put up a good fight up until the third. Gab.
All right. For this game, as I said earlier, this was the more exciting of the two games. If you want to watch up-tempo basketball, I think on the call it was Diego Dario. And they were saying parang may hinahabol tong dalawang teams after ng game. Gusto matapos agad. Nagmamadali sila every offensive. But yeah, if you want to watch an up-tempo basketball game, a lot of threes. These two teams launched a lot of threes, and they made a lot of them in the first half. Pretty entertaining to watch. Again, Mark Nonoy. But the engine for both teams, I think, was also more impressive. Yes, the threes were impressive. But Evanelli and KQ for La Salle, just driving, just penetrating, kicking out, running the offense so well. Again, these two are the lifeblood of La Salle. And on the other end for UE, Ray Remogat was amazing. I think he had 10 assists already by the third quarter. Again, without any other playmaker in the lineup, he's tasked to do almost everything on offense, and he did. He was incredible. Just didn't have enough gas and weapons yung by the fourth quarter to counter the La Salle surge. And kudos to Coach Jack. Out of halftime, going zone. We know La Salle struggles with the zone, and they made. I think they took the lead, 54-52. They did,
Yes.
right?
The lead.
They took the lead. Yeah, so again, La Salle, you're having trouble with the zone until Coach Topex called a timeout, and finally, they were able to probe the zone, rotate the ball, get closeouts, and able to get to the basket. I think it started with an Evanelli floater, ended up with a KQ3, and then it was. They steadied the ship and countered the zone. So I kind of dinged Coach Topex in the UP game for not making adjustments against the zone and how terrible they were against the zone. But in this game, they were able to make adjustments and were able to counter the zone and forced UE back to a man-to-man, which made it more comfortable for La Salle to attack the man-to-man defense of UE. Also, since they made baskets, they were now able to set up their full court and then zone pressure, which led to a ton of UE turnovers in the third and in the fourth, especially in the fourth quarter. Doon mo na makita na medyo napagod na, both mentally and physically ang UE. They had no more energy to get, as in, ang daming steals, tas binabato na lang ni KQ forward eh. You know, and that showed. I think that showed a lot of fatigue on UE's part. Also, again, an 8-man rotation in the 40-minute game. But I know, ang sarap talaga panoorin ni Ray Remogat. And I know we've talked about him in the earlier part of the season. No, I mean we were all praises for Ray Remogat in the earlier part of the season because he was amazing and UE was winning. But now that UE is losing a lot, we don't get to talk about him a lot. But again, just to watch this guy play, sobrang saya niyang panoorin as a point guard. In the first half, he was content to distribute the basketball. Yung Abdul Sawat got a lot of open threes from his dishes. Yung Lingo-Lingo, yung got a lot of open looks. But in the second half, he decided to score and kept it close until the fourth quarter. But, as Maui said, medyo they ran out of gas na talaga. And La Salle, KQ, again, you said it already, Maui. He's the best. One of our subscribers in our previous comment made an argument for possibly being Jake Figueroa as the best local player because he's a two-way guy. He brings it on the defensive end. KQ brought it on the defensive end, and his defense is underrated. He's a pretty good defender. A while ago, I think the stats were eye-popping, 4 steals and 2 blocks. But he's been doing this since round 1. He's not been a minus defender. It's not like he relaxes on defense. He brings it on defense, and he brings it on the defensive rebounding side too. So, yeah, as you said, Maui, we're not fans of how the UAAP computes or awards their MVPs, but I think this is no
We
question.
have
If
to
I were
agree.
to make, we have to agree with the UAP. We have to agree with the stats and what the stats say.
Tumama
And
ang what the stats
tumama,
say.
and even the eye test. KQ is the MVP and should be the MVP. If I were to make my not just stats MVP rankings again, he will definitely be higher than Malik Diouf. Now, I know the UP fans will say, well, UP's number one or tied for number one. Yeah, sure. Yeah, you're right. But La Salle is undefeated. They have won five. They have how many have won? 6 straight, 5 straight.
Five straight, I think.
5 straight. Last 2
Yeah,
games.
they've won 5 straight games. So yeah, I think you have to give it to KQ by now. There are 2 games left. I'm not sure what else would change. Siguro if they lose to, I think they're playing FEU on Wednesday. So siguro if they lose to FEU on Wednesday and then lose again to Ateneo, then maybe Malik can have a say there. But right now, to me, it's looking like it's a KQ runaway for MVP. And there was also an argument by some of our subscribers that KQ was kind of stat chasing and just wanted the MVP. I don't think there's any truth to that. Come on, guys. No, there's no truth to that. He does rack up stats, but that's just the way he plays. He's tasked to create a lot of the offense. He's tasked to distribute the ball. He's tasked to shoot those shots. At times, it may seem rushed to us. At times, it is talaga rush shots. But that's the way he's tasked to play. And he's elevated his game, and Coach Topex's system has matched that elevation with KQ's development. So kudos to both of them. I've really been impressed by KQ. And let's just Evanelli was amazing also. He had 11 assists also. I mean, he was distributing like hell a while ago. So La Salle looks dangerous. I'm not optimistic for next Saturday when Ateneo faces them. Mukhang mata-trash talk tayo ni Apo, Sami. Mukhang masabihan na naman siya na siya na makakuha ng sing-sing yung this year.
It's
By the way,
okay.
Apo,
It's okay.
Apo, join us for that podcast, win or lose. Go ahead, Maui. Sorry, you were saying.
It's okay. It's okay if La Salle gets at least we still got one nung first round. I think that's a consolation prize for all Ateneans.
Okay, sige. So that's the La Salle UE game. Maui, you sort of talked about the crazy last 2 games for the teams that are still in contention for the Final Four spot. I think maganda yung tweet ni Pong Ducanes. So if you guys want to see that, may breakdown si Pong Ducanes of the win-loss records and the remaining games. So let me just check this out. UP and NU are still tied 10-2. La Salle is still in 3rd place, 9-3. With the Ateneo win over Adamson, Ateneo gets bumped up into solo 4th at 6-6. So 500 record. Adamson is now 5-7. UE is 4-8. FU, UST out of contention. Looking at the schedule, sino sa tingin nyo will make it to the top 4 slots ng Final Four? So UP will be UST NU. NU is Adamson UP. La Salle is FEU Ateneo. Ateneo is UE La Salle. Adamson is NU UE. UE is Ateneo Adamson. Any guesses or picks or predictions? Let's go with you, Maui.
Go, Maui. Ikaw muna.
Yeah, I think basically locked up na yung first 3 slots. The question is who will get a twice to beat advantage.
Sino ang twice to beat?
Yeah, of the 3 teams dun sa top 3, I think NU has the hardest schedule with Adamson and UP. UP is against UST and NU, so definitely barring any catastrophic disaster, probably Nick Cabanero scoring 50 points. The game against UST is probably versus UP versus UST. We can bag it to UP.
50 points si Nick Cabanero.
50 points si Nick Cabanero.
sa kanya.
Yeah. Definitely mythical team, automatic, and MVP. But yeah, I think probably UP is in the bag for top two, barring any disasters. But it's crazy. NU is also going up against Adamson, who wants to chase Ateneo. But if I were to make a prediction, I think it's Ateneo to lose for the fourth slot. I think they are the one expected to get into the final four, not just because of Coach Tab or the preseason rankings we had. I think Ateneo at 6-6 and going up against UE and La Salle should get to the final four. I think all of the three bottom teams that are trying to get to the final four, they all have a very tight schedule. UE and Adamson will fight during the last few days of the season. That will be a crazy game, definitely. But if Ateneo beats UE, then definitely probably Ateneo will lock up that fourth slot, barring any disasters from NU against Adamson. I don't want to underestimate Adamson anymore. I mean, they are a team that can beat NU. They are a team that can also beat UE. So it's gonna be a crazy week. Definitely, if you're watching our episode, watch all the games this Wednesday and Saturday, Sunday. It's probably should be one of the most exciting weeks for this
Wag mo
season.
na panoorin ng UP-UST. Yan lang.
UP-UST, yeah. Siguro pahinga na lang. Yun na lang ipahinga mo. I think it's
Mag-lunch break na kayo nun, pare.
Yeah, I think UP-UST is one of the games sa Wednesday, diba? When we have the usual 4 game slot. Siguro you can rest for that game. Then watch all the other games. Ateneo versus UE this Wednesday. La Salle versus FPU. And Adamson against NU will definitely be games to watch out for this Wednesday. I'm sure our episode this Wednesday will be crazy, whatever happens. I'm hoping for craziness as we've expected and hope for the whole season. But if you were to ask me, I'd probably say UP and La Salle, top 2. Then NU, probably NU and La Salle tied. I don't know the quotient. But I think if it's tied for second and third, they'll just have a best of 3.
Playoff yan.
If I'm not mistaken.
Playoff yan.
Tama, di ba, Gab? They'll have a best of 3.
Yeah, playoff yan.
Definitely. I think NU and La Salle will probably be tied when it's all said and done after the last 2 games. And then Ateneo will be the 4th and UP will probably be the 1st. It's gonna be crazy if it's UP versus Ateneo. If Ateneo can somehow manage to steal a game. But regardless, if it's Ateneo, if it's Adamson, if it's UE, I hope they steal a game against UP. Nothing against UP, but I just want excitement for the UAAP season. As we are heading to the end, we want more games. So hopefully we get craziness during this last week. We'll know more by the weekend. What are your thoughts, guys?
More games means more episodes of Boleros. Yun lang
Definitely.
Kaya gusto namin more games. Sorry, Gab. I think I agree with Maui. Let me just add. I think Maui, you mentioned kanina. For me, the team to watch out for here is UE. UE has the opportunity to sort of eliminate either Ateneo or Adamson in the final 4, or basically help bring them down, diba? So I would look at those 2 games of UE, versus Ateneo and versus Adamson. They can really upset one of those 2 teams and
they're technically still alive, UE.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Definitely.
But obviously, si UE has the hardest task, di ba? Kasi si UE needs to really win both games, basically, to make it to the 4th place.
The most pressure. Yeah, I agree, Sam. Probably with UE has the most pressure to win those 2 games.
Knowing UE, they fight all throughout. They fought against La Salle today, so I am expecting an exciting last 2 games for UE. So we'll see. That's the team to watch out for me. By the way, sorry, one last comment. For UP naman, I agree with Maui. I think UP will still be the top team. Also because all their injured guys are coming back now. So we saw JD Kagulangan and Malik Diouf play last time, and Malik Diouf had a very efficient and good game also. So I
As
think,
expected.
as expected, I think he is healthy finally. So that is a dangerous UP team when they are healthy. Go, Gab. Yun lang masasabi ko.
Uh, I want I actually want the best of three na for the number for twice to beat between LaSalle and UP. But I'm not optimistic about
Ooh.
NU's chances. I want that. I mean,
Yeah,
LaSalle
if that
UP games
happens.
are so entertaining,
Yeah,
diba?
yeah, yeah.
Sobrang
Really,
entertaining,
really.
diba?
Yeah.
But I'm not optimistic about NU's chances to give UP a loss. And I'm definitely not optimistic about UST
Nitpick
dealing
naman niya,
UP a
no?
loss.
Score 50 or 60 points. Maybe UST can upset UP.
No chance. So, yeah, I think UP will lock up number one. Then, with the way LaSalle is playing, while in my heart, I want an Ateneo upset over LaSalle, I highly doubt it. So, nakaisa na tayo. Happy na ako dun. The one big fight in me will tell me that Ateneo will win on Saturday, but my mind will tell me that LaSalle is playing just too good. KQ is playing a hell of a season, a hell of a second round. And I think they will sweep their last two games. I think they will sweep the second round. So they'll end up 11-3 and a playoff with NU for twice the beat is in the cards. I think that's the most logical thing. Uh, Ateneo, I think can lock up you number four. I think they can win against UE. They're deeper. U is playing a very short rotation.
Yeah.
Uh, Obasa can match up against Momoway, and he's done it before. In the first round, he matched up pretty well against Momoway. And Sean Kiteves is there to man up against Ray Mogat. So I'm optimistic about Ateneo's chances on Wednesday against UE, but we never know. But I'm optimistic they could pull out a win and lock up number four. The interesting to me is gonna be that fight for the twice to beat advantage, whether it's against LaSalle UP or LaSalle NU. I'm excited for it. I want LaSalle UP because just because they play crazy games.
Pure
Kasi said Maui,
excitement.
pure excitement talaga ang LaSalle versus
Yeah,
UP.
pure
So I
excitement.
want
We
that.
we we might get that in the finals. By the way, we
You might
might
get it
get
in the
that.
finals,
It's still
but
possible. It's still possible. The earlier
so
the
yun, but
better
I
lang
think
daw for Gab.
yeah. So my official prediction is UP number one. Then put me down for LaSalle, upsetting NU and locking up number two, and then a best of three between them and NU in the final four, and Ateneo at number four.
Okay, that's it. That's it for today's episode. Last two games for each team, but thank you for all our subscribers. Keep on commenting, sharing your thoughts. Ask your friends to subscribe, share the podcast to everyone. And don't worry, we'll keep on doing episodes for the last two games all the way until the finals. So just stay tuned, subscribe, ring that notification bell. If you listen to the show while driving, listen on Spotify, huwag kayo manood ng YouTube habang nagdadrive. Please stay safe. Thank you. That's it for today. Bye-bye.